Welcome to our YouTube video series on tips and suggestions for dealing with the stress and implications of the coronavirus for both you and your family. In this particular video, I want to discuss some of the things you can do when you have elderly parents, elderly in-laws, family members, or just the elderly in general. So let me get onto it right away. What really got me going about this was I was listening to the U.S. Democratic debate on March 15th between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And Joe Biden made a very interesting observation or recollection that he thought to share with the American people. And I was profoundly struck by what he was saying. If it was for political expedience or something else. So let me quote exactly what he said when he was questioned by Jake Tapper. He goes, "I can't imagine what people are going through when they have a mom. Like, for example, a good friend of ours is sitting outside of the window of a nursing home where her mom is because she can't go in, trying to do sign language to her mom and through the window to be able to talk to her. I guess I can imagine the fear and concern people have." End quote. Now, I really was struck by this. I'm going, Joe Biden, what is he trying to accomplish with this? Trying to fearmonger, create fear, and not offering any practical suggestions. The whole idea that these people that he knows do not even own a telephone. They cannot utilize a telephone. And it got me thinking, practical suggestions are what you need. You don't want to resuscitate the fear, build on it, grow on it. But more importantly, think through stuff. And for some reason, former Vice President Joe Biden doesn't want to think through stuff, have a humongous platform, and act upon it. So I was thinking about this, and I was saying to myself, given my in-laws are elderly, and what we were thinking about, well, first of all, there's a telephone. All these senior places have telephones, but more importantly, if they want to see you, there's some very basic tools that we could be using. You can get your in-laws, your elderly parents, your grandparents, just older people in general, an iPad or a tablet, and upload into that system Google Hangouts, Facebook Messenger, or any type of video conferencing tool. All these seniors facilities, they have internet. And if anything, the government should be providing these places that don't have internet with internet for free. It just only makes sense. These are the people who are the most vulnerable. And yet, political candidates for expediency and fear-mongering decide that they're going to thrive off them, but not offer any true practical solution. He simply could have gone on if he wanted to spend an extra 30 seconds. I told him, use a telephone. Go take an iPad or a tablet. Download the programs. Give them some very, very simple instructions as to how to use this stuff. Anybody can figure this stuff out for the most part. You make it practical. Even if the nursing aide comes in and turns it on for them, hooks them up, and then they just simply have to answer the call. And that way, they have that important human interaction. They can speak to people all over the world. Their children can be confined to their own homes and yet still communicate them, not only by voice, but also visually. And for elderly people, that is going to be what keeps them going. It is not this kind of fear-mongering without suggestions that you have to wait till somebody shows up, knocks at the window, sort of like a la Romeo and Juliet, and then try to communicate with sign language when they don't have the idea that there isn't a phone available to them, a cordless phone. and that they don't have an iPad or other tablet that's connected to the internet. This is simply doesn't make sense that this kind of stuff is allowed to persist in the media. Instead, people have to take action, and people should be looking to whether it's old tablets, iPads, refurbished tablets, getting these things, or even sharing them between seniors. Well, even though they shouldn't be going around, simply sanitizing them ahead of time. But they're all confined into the same space, and they're all sharing space unless they're locked in their rooms the whole time. And when you think, if they are forced to be locked in their rooms and not even socialize with the other seniors, even more so, they need to have as much interaction as possible with the outside world. Not just the interaction they get from the TV and the radio, as they've always been getting, but the internet. But even that is still, it's not personal. They need the personal interaction. And if they can't do it by physical presence, visual is the key, because you're getting multiple senses being stimulated. Not only sound, but visual. And it's going to get them through this hard period when they are the most vulnerable, and they are the most concerned, and they have the greatest amount of fears. So if anything, take the story from the vice president and say, some people need to have some practical insights, and we'll try to bring you more insights, but they need to get out there. They need to have information made available to them, and they want to see people. They want to interact with people. And if they can't do it in person anymore, well, what they need to be doing is they need to be engaging them through social media platforms that allow video engagement, whether it's Google Hangouts, Facebook Messenger, or whichever other form of video calls that you can do with them. Do it. It doesn't cost anybody any real money other than for getting the iPad or tablet to them and then getting them figured out. Because once they figure it out, they're going to enjoy it. They can communicate with their other relatives who are also possibly quarantined or self-isolating. Their old friends who they might not have talked to for years, but are also self-isolating. And that is what you need to be doing. Give positive information, positive suggestion, positive tips. And that's what we're going to be looking to do in this video series. Thank you.